Hello everyone, it's Olga here, and today we are going to talk about the M4 Pro iPad. And I bought this iPad a year ago, so this is the yearly review, and this one is the one with the Nano-Texture screen. So we are also going to talk about if that's worth and how it's holding up. So I went from my 5-year-old iPad Pro, it was from 2018 I think, and it was holding up really well, but it was a bit laggy, and the main issue, it was a 12-inch 0.9 tablet, and I didn't like that. It was too big for me, so I decided to buy the M4 11-inch. The size right now is perfect, and if you know how I draw, I really like to draw tiny drawings, so the other one was too big. And yeah, the other thing is that I really need an iPad to perform as best as possible with Procreate, because it's my main program that I use. I make brushes, I also do a lot of drawings, tutorials, and all of that, so I needed to perform as best as possible. I use the iPad for professional use, so if I have to do a book illustration or something like that, instead of using Photoshop, I use Procreate. So I really need the RAM and also the storage to be on top of the game. So I decided to buy the newest one. Since I bought the one with 1 terabyte, it gave me like, I'm not sure how much, I will put it down below, how much RAM it gives you, but it's like the best RAM it has. So that's really useful when you want to draw with Procreate, because you can make huge canvas with lots of layers. Depending on the RAM you have, the iPad will be able to create more layers. That's why I didn't buy an iPad Air or a regular iPad, because I really needed to use it for professional use. And since I was on the terabyte side, I decided to also for the nano screen texture. I wanted the nano screen not because of the papery texture, but because of the glare and all the reflections. And since I'm recording tutorials and all of that, I've been having uses with the last one that positioning the iPad perfectly, so I have light, but the light is not reflecting on the screen and all of that. And with this kind of glass, it's just perfect. Honestly, I always forget that I have this kind of Nano-Texture screen, because it just works perfectly. The colors are amazing, it looks really nice, and it just works. How it's been holding up after a year? So the iPad performance, I have it on the last update, 26.2 update, and it's performing perfectly, as it should. And about the glass, it's like brand new. I was a little bit afraid. It's dirty as fuck. So I was a little bit afraid that, how to say it, not the glass scratching by itself because of the usage I'm giving it, but because inside these tips on the pencil, there's metal. So if the tip is wearing down too fast, maybe the metal will show up and maybe that metal will scratch the screen. So I was really afraid of that. And no, the tip is perfect. It's not like brand new, because while it was brand new, you can hear the scratches, and now it doesn't make that noise. And that's because it has some kind of wear down, which is normal. Also, my last pencil was also wearing down from the just plain glass. That's normal, but it's been holding up for a whole year and it's almost like new. And the screen is just amazing. So I'm really, really happy with that. I was afraid at the time, but yeah, now it's perfect. So what else? I have a whole list here of things. Although I know that you are here only interested because of the screen, so yeah. The battery performance on the iPad is really nice, and since I only use it for drawing, so far it's been lasting me like a week or so without charging, so it's really nice. Not, of course, not using it 8 hours a day, but using it like a couple hours a day or something, it will last like a week or so. It's quite nice. I barely just use it for Procreate, so it really depends how Procreate really works with the iPad. And we've been having the newest update like 2 months ago, I think. Well, it wasn't the best update ever, since it was a little bit buggy. Well, a little bit is. I've been having a lot of bugs, and not because of the iPad itself, just because the Procreate update. At the time I was doing my latest pack that I did, and yeah, I couldn't change the name of the brushes. I couldn't change the picture of the brushes. It was a tiny nightmare because it was super buggy and they weren't updating it as fast as I wanted to be updated. And yeah, that caused me a little bit of trouble. But a couple of days ago, they've made another big update for all these bugs and performances, and I think they are fixed. So the other video I made in Spanish, I told you about reading and all of that. I've doesn't been using it for that. Because I bought another ebook and I've been using that for reading. So, and I also hear if you like to read manga, it's really nice, the screen, but I've been using it with Blender. I'm just waiting for the Blender app, but I've been using it with Blender and Grease Pencil. It has it's not a program by itself, but it has something called Sidecar. Something like that. It allows you to use it as a MacBook screen. And the only problem here is the resolution. It's too tiny and Blender has too many things on the screen. Also Photoshop, I've been using it for Photoshop too, as a Wacom. It's not the best use you can give it because the display looks super tiny. It's really weird to use, and I don't know, I'm just using like 3-4 times when my Wacom doesn't have battery. So that's the only use I've been giving to it. It's kind of a nightmare to use. Also, I don't know why when I use the Wacom and when I use the iPad for Grease Pencil brushes, the pressure is completely different from one to the other. I don't know why that happens, but it's what it is. Also for the screen, it doesn't get that dirty, but when it gets dirty, it's quite easy to clean with the cleaning cloth that it comes, but I've been using any kind of cleaning cloth. Just make sure it's not dirty, so it won't scratch the surface. It's the same when you clean your glasses, that you have to make sure that there is no dust and all of that. So yeah, it really cleans pretty easily. As for the things that I don't really like, just the sidecar I said before, and also the camera bump. So one of the problems I had, I think it's because of my home. I don't know, there's a lot of static everywhere. And when I'm drawing, usually my shares are creating static with the screen and the screen moves and all of that. One thing I found that if I take out the case, it will also create less static, but that means that the camera bump, it's noticeable when you're putting pressure on the screen, and I don't really like that. Maybe that's honestly, I think that's the only inconvenience that I found. The static is not because of the iPad, I think so, but if you've been having the same problems and you've been able to solve it, please tell me, because it's quite troubling. Honestly, the only downside to this iPad is the camera bump. So I will recommend it to my past self? Yes, because even though at the time it was super pricey, right now for me it's the perfect tool. I'm super happy how it works. The performance is top notch and I'm in love with the screen, and I think it was worth it. And also I really, as I told you before, if you really want the best performance with Procreate and to have a lot of layers, you will need a lot of RAM and also a lot of storage. So for $100 more, it's worth to have the nano screen with that. Maybe you could say that you can use a paper-like glass protector, but I've been using that for my last iPad and I don't really like it at all. The sensation and all of that is completely different. With the nano screen, the screen looks amazing. The colors look great, but with that kind of textured matte protectors, they look off. They sound off and everything is off. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the paper-like screen protector. I think it's worth to spend the money on this one instead of the other one. And also you will have to change it every year. And after like 5 years, it's gonna be more expensive, that kind of screen protector, that buying the nano screen. So That's one thing. And also, if you are not professional and you only want a regular iPad, just don't spend the money on this one. Honestly, even though it's amazing, it's not worth it. It's way too much and you don't need that much for drawing. So that's pretty much all. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any more questions. I'm pretty sure I haven't been talking about a lot of things. I will also be updating you on how it's going, the screen's going. But after 1 year of use, I think it's gonna be fine. I will also leave you down below a link to my store. I've been making Procreate brushes for like 3 years now, maybe. Yeah, I have a lot of brushes there. I also have free brushes, so if you don't want to spend money, just download the free ones. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!